Hello everybody, and welcome to today's Toonkind 12 FPS triple feature. My name is Fable, and I will be playing two dudes. One is cool, one is the butt. And with me today are two absolutely cool people. Introduce yourselves, buds.
What up? It's me, Arson Sessions, aka Abby, and I'm gonna be playing my baby, Tally Mark. Behold, a child.
And I am Mad. I am also playing one person who is cool and one person who is a tool. So we're gonna deal with that as it comes. So it's like we're doing 3 FPSs back to back, and I'm in all of them, so we may have to take breaks between them just so I can recover.
Oh no! Listen, I'm making it a thing. We're taking breaks between them. This is not up for
We are
negotiation.
taking breaks. We are taking breaks. We are doing this self-care.
If we don't, Snail will definitely come into the chat and hold the self-care gun to our heads. This I have no doubt.
Into your DMs like, bitch.
No, listen. Just wait. Snail at some point is gonna show up in the chat, and we're just gonna be like, ah, shit, Snail's here.
Run for the hills.
Run for the hills, man.
Flee!
Yeah, shit, dude. Anywho, so triple feature, yeah.
Yes.
So we're doing 3 FPSs in a row, and what we are starting with today begins a lovely, calm day in the Dodo Studios. Engineer, where are you right now?
If it's a lovely calm day, that probably means that explosions have finished for now. They're probably in post-production, like they've filmed the rest of the Star Wars trilogy, and now it's just like sticking it all together. So he's probably in the editing suite, like with that big clunky machine that you like put the film reel in and like edit shit together.
Oh my god, yeah, old-fashioned editing.
Yeah.
I
can use one of those. They're very satisfying, and it's shockingly easy, actually. It's like a child could do this.
Oh no, I've heard. As someone whose father is an editor and who has told me stories of using those machines.
You haven't told me that. You are going to tell me more later on.
I've told people my dad's an editor. This is not new news, is it?
No, you've told me that he's an editor, but like I didn't know that he'd use like Yieldy machines and stuff.
I think he used it in like college. I think he used it in like college and stuff. Off topic. Engineer, you're in the editing bay. You're in the editing bay.
I am. Sorry, I just got excited.
I know. We're all excited about filmmaking, and we're valid. Engineer, you hear a little. You hear a very polite little. Hello. Is engineer in here?
Well, hang on. He's just kind of like, my brain was deep in editing mode. Like, you have to extract yourself from that state of mind. I know this from many experiences. So he actually like takes a second to answer because he has to disengage from what he was doing. And probably, hang on, let me just make a little deck save. Oh, not great. He gets a little bit tied up in the spools. There's a little bit of swearing, sort of under his breath, but eventually you hear a sort of, and you figure that the spools have been rewound sufficiently without him being entangled in them, and the door opens.
Clearly I was interrupting. I don't suppose you'd have a moment to spare, though.
Well, I've made one, haven't I?
Fair enough. And Bob actually turns his gaze to a little tune that's hiding behind him. Tally, how you doing?
Tally's a little nervous, not gonna lie, but that's kind of her default state of being.
I think Bob puts like a little hand on her back, like it's just a little comforting, like, hey, it's okay.
Yeah, the engineer's expression had been a little bit, I'm busy, but now it melts like child, and also like I have to be like friendly grandpa, not I am in the middle of making a movie person. So.
Oh, Bob would have given you such a look if you had been in the rude mode.
Anyway, yes, we are soft and fuzzy today, not Red Dead Redemption 2 style. He has 2 modes. He is now in cuddly toy mode.
Cuddle toy mode, yes, good. Well, either way, Tally just kind of gives the engineer an awkward little hello. And actually, Tally does look a lot different from the last time the engineer saw her. Because the last time the engineer saw her was, like, after Animus.
I have a feeling like they've encountered each other since. It's just we can't roleplay every single day.
You know what?
But,
fair.
yeah, but
fair,
I probably
but
haven't
still.
seen... Yeah, the new look, the brand new look, is like... Yeah, that's new. So
Brand,
it says, oh, hello there. Well, look at you. Aren't you a picture?
I think Tally just kind of sheepishly rubs the back of her neck and like, oh, thank you, I guess. Hi.
Hello. Is there something I can help one or both of you with? And he's looking at Bob for like a little more explanation because he doesn't want to put all the pressure on the kid.
Oh well, there is something I want to talk about, but that can wait. It's mostly business stuff. But I believe Tally here wanted to talk to you about something.
Why?
Well, I don't think, and like Tally is like trying to think of like how to word this, and she's like putting her little mitten hand on her chin very seriously.
Again, Bob gives a little.
I don't think.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, gentle pat, good, yes. Tally, I think like calms down a little bit. I don't think I ever got the chance to say sorry for some stuff from before, like, you know, and like she kind of winces and like she doesn't continue because
I don't think she needs to. The engineer sort of inadvertently.
A, she doesn't need to, and B, she hasn't talked about any of this stuff with Bob. And several of these things include stealing talents and also stabbing once or twice. Yeah. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
So yeah, the engineer was in editing mode, so like he's well and truly like in short sleeves and waistcoat, and he sort of inadvertently sort of scratches at part of his waistcoat, which is definitely where he got shanked by this kid. But he sort of like is doing the head tilt. He's like, oh, I don't think there's anything you particularly need to apologize for. There was quite a lot of reason why it wasn't your fault, but I do appreciate the sentiment, and let's get out of here. I'll leave the work till it's time to work. You are my priority right now. So where do you want to go? Do you want to get a drink or something?
I can, like, milk? Tally is facing very questioningly.
Aye, sure, whatever you fancy. I mean, I don't know that Cell has an infinite supply of everything, but I do suspect that he has a glass of moo juice around.
Bob nods in agreement.
He's got a lot.
Well, we'd better lighten his load then. And the engineer is going to try to swing you up onto his shoulders. Is this permitted?
Oh, I think it is permitted, but Tally does like let out a little startled eep as she is now on the shoulders.
It's a very practiced motion. He's done this a lot of times. So yes, I think we will piggyback ride over to the kitchen. And are we leaving Bob?
Bob is gonna let them go off. You two go on, sir. I'll wait for you at your office.
Okay. He's just kind of like, more work. Like, he assumes that like this is more like money related stuff. Like, he has no idea what Bob wants to actually talk about, but like that's his sort of default. Oh yeah, I'll see you later.
You can't escape the work.
There are responsibilities that need doing.
Yeah,
Okay, and we smash cut to the kitchen where the engineer has poured 2 glasses of milk and has put them down beside them, and we are sitting on blast doors because I say those exist now.
Yes, good. I think Tally definitely would have made herself at home on like one of the counters, just sitting on it with her legs kind of swinging
Oh.
off the sides.
Okay, yeah, that's way
'Cause-
cuter. Yeah.
And she's just taking a sip of her milk and kind of like rubs at her lips after taking a sip and so I I do want to talk about things, but I'm not sure how to bring it up. I'm just trying to I'm not good at as good as conversation as I want to be, but I'm
Well, you and me are the same in that regard. He's taking a slightly self-conscious sip of his own milk with that comment, but the art of conversation is one that he is trying to improve on.
yeah. I and Tally like kind of sets her milk off to the side before putting both of her little mitten hands in her lap and she very seriously says, I have got a new I think it's called a pact. That's what it's called, yeah. And okay. I've been really busy with stuff and people have been helping me out and I don't think I'm going to be having to deal with the stupid guy from Animus. That guy.
Okay, I'm going to make the engineer do what he's so good at, an Arcana check with his -9. -9.
-9.
5. I mean, like, that could have been much worse. Let's face it, guys. So with a 5, he does not like explode. Like his head does not get set on fire. But you get the very distinct impression that quite a lot of what you just said was completely lost on him.
Talia just kind of like thinks for a second and she goes, "Oh, well, okay. Simplified explanation. I have tried very hard to make sure that I won't be, forced to do things anymore by him."
Ah, well, I do
Yeah.
understand that. So, are you saying
'Cause
that this connection that you had with him, that's gone completely? Are you sure about that?
Mhm. I talked with people like Donut and Mr. Marcel and stuff like that, and they told me that sometimes in order to get rid of an old pact, you got to make a new one. So I made a new connection with somebody that broke the old one, and like Tally kind of like grabs onto a little part of her scarf and holds it up for the engineer to see, and there's like a little pin that's shaped like a heart with two little simplified crab pinchers on either side of it.
Yay, so cute. What would you say that's a roll to recognize that? Would it be history or arcana again?
Probably either history or religion, I'd say.
Oh yeah, religion, that's a good shout.
Yeah.
I've got a big plus nothing in that, so let's see how that goes. A 6.
6.
It's cute. It's a nice little badge. I think like he's starting to put things together with the pact in terms of like his own experiences. So he's kind of like thinking it in terms of like a contract, like a movie exclusivity contract. So he's starting to understand
Exactly.
that part of it. But again, he's kind of looking at the penny. He's like, "Well, that's a lovely decoration, but I think its meaning is a little bit lost on me."
Oh, it's Crunkles. It's Crunkle's symbol. And like Tally holds it up very proudly, like it is a badge of honor.
And I want you to make an insight roll.
Insight.
Reverse Uno.
Insight. 16.
16. Yeah, that's a good roll. Especially because like he's been looking pretty befuddled before now, and there is suddenly a clearing of his expression, and you recognize that he recognizes the name Crunkle.
Uh, hmm. I'm trying to think of like what Tally would do like with that insight.
Mhm. She might not do anything. It's just
I mean, she is a curious kid.
she is.
She is. I think she would ask, "So, do you know what Crunkle does? Cuz if you don't, I can explain it. Cuz I've been doing a lot of research and stuff. I've been going to the library a lot and making sure that I know these things cuz I don't want to, do a whole new pact thing and then have it be a wrong pact cuz that would be bad. I've made that mistake
Okay.
before apparently."
Oh, well, yes, we have come to learn that the hard way. You see, I've got a very, very vague understanding of what Crunkle does, but you're clearly an expert, and I love to listen to any expert about their expertise, so please do tell me. And he's going to lean his jaw on the palm of his hand, and he just wants to listen to this kid ramble.
Aww. Okay. So, Crunkle is, he's a god, and he's the god of like relationships and love and stuff like that. Not just romantic love, but like, platonic and, what's the other word? Familial. Familial? Is that
Mhm.
it? Is that how you say it? I think so. Yeah.
Familial is perhaps what you're aiming for, but honestly,
Familial.
the thing about words is it doesn't matter how you say them. If someone understands what you're saying, that's the main thing, and I understand what you're saying.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Like Tally nods very seriously. And well, he's god of relationships and those kind of relationships. And he's also like he's kind of also the god of love, but he's also got the god of well, he also does hate stuff cuz like sometimes like
Two
I'm not
sides of the
explaining
same
this very
coin.
good.
I do
Yeah.
understand that sort
Yeah.
of a premise.
Cuz like you can love somebody but because like there's relationships for love, but there's also relationships for like when you don't like somebody. Like
Yeah.
certain pecknicks, which are stupid. And she very pointedly is. You probably don't even need to roll insight. You know exactly who she's talking.
Yeah, I think there's sort of a semi-wide shot of them both like just nodding very sincerely at the same time. We know about that shit.
Oh. Yeah. And what I did is I went and talked with Crunkle because apparently you can talk to him because Tobias told me how to talk to him and like get a new pact and stuff, and I got new magic that doesn't do the whole weird stuff like the mind control or the what was that? I don't know what that was. But either way, I'm not gonna take any more of the talent stuff. No more.
Woohoo. Okay,
Done.
another insight roll.
Insight.
I
Oh
may
boy.
contest this if I decide.
Oh boy. 18.
Whoa, 18 is really good. I mean, I'm trying to decide whether he would try to cover this up or not. Hmm. Let me do the D2. 2. Yeah, he's gonna try. Would I do performance or
Okay.
deception?
I'd say either or could work.
Deception has a less of a bonus,
So-
and like that is kind of what he's doing. 5.
Oh,
Rubbish.
good
That
golly,
was a
that's
nat
a nat 1.
Absolute failure. Like I think it's partly because like he was kind of caught off guard. Like he perhaps wasn't expecting her to say that so directly, because the fact that Tally was ever able to take talents is an astonishingly frightening thing for a movie director in control of a studio. But also, she stole his talent, and that was a whole thing. If you have watched Subway Robbery, people, I really do recommend that you do that game was intense. And yeah,
Mhm.
so he can't manage to summon the bluffery, and you completely understand that there is express relief in this guy's face.
Aw.
Like
Aw.
he was frightened of that part of you for sure.
I think like Telly understanding this, just kind of like points is like, yeah, see, that's why I'm trying to. That's why I don't want to do it anymore, because mm, I don't want to have that kind of ability where like I can hurt people, because hurting people isn't nice. It's not nice, and I don't want to do it anymore.
He's actually quiet for a moment, because like that's a big thing to have said and to have admitted, like processed. You're a child. Like there's so much about that whole situation that's so messed up, and he's so angry about the person who did it to you. Oh my goodness. Uh, uh, so yeah, he eventually gives a slow nod and then does like the big paw raise above your head, and you're not quite sure what that's about, and then he smushes his big cuddly paw down on your hat and just like does the big ruffle with like your hat and your hair underneath it, and it's just like, "Oh, well, I am extremely glad to hear that, and congratulations. I could not be happier for so many reasons."
Well, and like Tally, kind of like, takes off her hat a little bit to kind of fix it before putting it back on.
Oh, look, all my hard work is undone. I might have to do it again. Uh,
No! Like Tally, like protectively puts both hands above her hat.
he does the threatening wiggle fingers, but doesn't actually do anything. But that is cracking news. I hope it wasn't too distressing. I have no idea what that entails. Like changing, what is it, warlock partners? What did you say? Pact? Yeah.
Yeah,
It didn't hurt, did it?
it didn't hurt. It's
Oh
just
my
it
goodness.
feels different, because like my magic was different before, and now it feels different now. If that makes sense, because I guess it comes from a different person now, so I guess it would make sense if it feels different. Uh,
Hmm.
hmm.
But
Oh,
it's a
oh,
good different, right?
mm-hmm. It's a really
Oh,
good different.
I am
Here,
so
here, look
proud
at
of
this,
you.
and like, oh,
He is. He's very proud.
oh. Do you want to roll insight?
Yeah, sure. Ugh, hey,
Aw.
God, I am having really not great rolls today. He's a bit in his head
sometimes
about it.
sometimes the dice are mean, but
Mm.
it wasn't that hard of a roll, so I will say, like you saying that you're proud of Tally just kind of like immediately stops in surprise, and oh, she looks very pleased.
Oh, cute.
There's just a big grin.
Mm. I think this is a hug opportunity if the child is willing. Like there is the wide arm gesture.
Yes. Hugs. I think like it
Ye-
takes like a moment for Tally to catch on. Oh, hugs. And she kind of awkwardly hops off of the counter and goes to give big hug.
He's
Big
very
hug.
good. He's very good. I
Yes.
forbid the dice from ruining this moment because I'm not going to make us roll to hug. I am going to say this is an extremely good hug, and it's just the right length. You know, it's just long enough to be like, yeah, this is a good hug, but not too long to be awkward.
Good.
Mm.
Yes. Very good.
Big squish. Also, I love this because, like, you know, she's a little toon and he's kind of toony, so there's definitely the big Ghibli squash. It's like,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
a good hug. We love them good
Good
animated
hug.
hugs.
We love them.
and disengage, and yeah, puts her back on the side because I think she probably ended up hopping down for that.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's actually kind of like a little bit shaky just because he's so relieved, and like this is a wonderful piece of news that he didn't know how badly he needed to know this, like because he didn't want to banish a child from the studio. On the other hand, like it's been
Yeah.
hanging over him, like it's been a real thing to worry about.
Mhm. I mean,
Well, I have to say it is a
understandable.
mighty relief to hear all this, and I'm so proud of you for doing this, and I just really hope that your life improves just exponentially from this moment on because you have had it rough.
It's it's been getting a whole lot better cause ever since Animus. I've been making friends for the first time in a long time, and it's really fun. I met Rad the other day, and Rad's really cool, and he can play music on his radio and stuff, and Tally's just going off because she really likes Rad. Rad is very
Yeah. No,
cool.
chin hands happening. Like a doting grandfatherly smile is plastered all over his face. Like he loves this. He's just gonna let her go off about Rad for a while, but eventually, I don't know if like Tully would settle down back into what they were talking about, or if there's something else she would like to talk about.
uh I think she's actually gonna like keep rambling on for a little bit longer because she's gotten into excited rambly
Mhm.
child mode and
Oh yeah.
is talking about like Rad and then also a little bit of Sammy and like how she spent time with him and then also Marcel and Tobias and just like a whole bunch of people that she's just been having a good time with.
Oh, baby has a social life. This is good. Yeah.
She
Oh, that's
does.
healthy. Oh, this is very,
And
very
I'm
good
very
news.
proud of her for having a social life.
Yeah. Oh, and with such origins, my goodness, the journey this child has gone on.
Yes.
Oh. I mean, like he's loving watching this, and yet, like as discussed with Crunkle, there's another side to the coin of this conversation, and like just in the shadows of
Mhm.
the back of his brain, like the contrast with what she had before and what she's been through, and she was denied all of this.
Mhm.
Like, so there is a sort of deep, dark, smoldering, absolute hatred of what was taken from her unknowingly. It's just
Yeah.
like how vile that you could do this to anybody, let alone a child like this.
Mhm.
It's just
Yep.
he cannot process how angry he is about it, but like he's not going to, let his emotions go into that spectrum because look how happy she is. Look how wonderful this is for her.
Aww. Maud, I'm holding soft.
Yeah, no, like he's so happy for you.
Aww.
Which is, yeah, again, like he's just kind of being quiet and nodding at the right places and going, oh and ah, like at the right points of the storytelling, like, that's his job. He's listening to you.
I think eventually Tally does like settle down from her like excited ramblings and she just kind of sighs and looks back to the counter and like where she set down her milk because thirsty. Baby needs snack. And so she goes to take a little sippy real quick.
Yeah.
Because
Take a little sip,
sometimes you
babe.
talk a lot and you need your drink.
Mhm. I think he does take the
Uh,
opportunity. I think he's already finished his. Like this guy is like a 0 to 100 guy. Like he just like one shots things. Whether it's milk or whiskey, this guy. He hasn't eaten the glass because Sal kept telling him off doing that because then they had to buy more glasses. Uh, yeah, recycling. be kind, rewind, that kind of shit. So yeah, he sort of spins it around a claw, that whole move, and he's saying to himself like, how do I address the other things that I kind of want to say about this, or should I? And what it comes out as is, so you're absolutely sure that the other fella can't do anything to you now?
100%, I think, or maybe at least 95.
Oh, that is a very good percentage, and I have to say, Crunkle is someone that I've heard of, and I have every reason to have confidence in him. So I will put my trust in Crunkle, and I will also extend my offers as far as they can go. But basically, if you have any suspicion that the other fella is trying to do anything, you come straight to me.
Tally thinks about this and then nods very seriously. I can
Well,
do
you go
that.
straight to whoever you trust that is closest to you, whether it's Bob or Rad or anybody. But I want to make sure that like, forget about everything that's happened between us. I am now a part of your life, and I want to be a positive part of that. And I am fairly good at hitting things with a big burning sword, as it turns out. So, like, if you need that, I can do that. It's a lovely shade of pink. You'll love it.
Yeah, I can do that because, like, I think something I've learned from like a whole lot of stuff recently is that like sometimes you gotta get help with stuff because you can't do stuff on your own.
I have
Because
been having to learn that one myself.
Because, like, if you try to, like, take care of a problem yourself and you can't do it, then it's just yourself. And then when you can't do it, then you can't do it and you can't get help from it.
How about this? And he puts the glass down with a sort of clunk. This is an emphatic, serious business. And he holds out his little pinky, or rather, like the third claw on his hand, whatever counts as. And he says, "All right, we are going to make a solemn oath that if we need help, we contact people who can help us as soon as possible."
Oh, and like Tally knows this. This is a pinky promise, and like Tally nods very seriously. This is serious time. Yeah, we can pinky promise and make sure that we get help whenever we need it, and yeah, and stuff.
And this way,
And, like,
we don't have to feel bad about it. I mean, you shouldn't anyway, but because we've made this promise, then we owe it to each other, not just ourselves.
Yep. And Tally goes to do the pinky promise before she stops and like looks at her hand.
Oh, she's got mittens, yeah.
She's got mittens, so like you can see like the dots above her head, and she's like, "Wait a second, I don't have pinkies."
I'm sure we can bend the rules. Just use your hand. I mean, gosh, look at real hands. Your hands are as small as my finger. That'll do. Just give it here.
And like Telly just kind of giggles as she holds out her little hand. And
She's dying. Her hands are so small.
She's just very small.
Baby, like this is the kid that he was able to glower down at. Like she is.
Yeah.
There aren't many.
She is in fact small enough. She's small enough that she can be loomed over by the engineer.
Yeah.
She has always been this tiny. Yeah.
Oh, she's so small, so little.
She's just small enough to be held.
Is whole.
Fun sized.
So yes, is this the pinkies where we are doing this?
Yep.
Okay.
Gotta get help.
The pact is made. This is a serious business for Toons, and especially for the engineer, because like, yeah, this is a big promise, but also the last time he made one of these, he fucked up spectacularly, and he hasn't forgiven himself for that. See under Larry. And yeah,
Oof.
so he is 100,000% very sincerely taking this.
Good. Yes, good.
Yeah.
And Tally is also taking this just as seriously. Because this is very serious business, and she is a very serious child.
Yeah. But
You
also,
can
yeah,
tell.
it's like, he does believe that she will do everything in her power to, like, not steal talents or jeopardize anybody ever again, because she never wanted to. On the other hand, like, getting this kid to guarantee that she will seek out help will reduce the chances of that ever happening. So, like, there are many reasons why this is a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tally now has a very large friend support group.
Yes. Good. I mean, the engineer comes with a lot of connections, so, like, if anybody's friends with this guy, they're now your friend, for sure. Like,
oh boy.
irons in the fire. Anyway, the deed is done, and he gives a very big sort of solid nod of the head and says, "Thank you very much." And was there anything else that you wanted from this professional engagement?
And like Tally thinks for a bit.
Would you like a cookie?
Ah, yes. Cookies are good.
Personally,
yes.
I kind of have a glass of milk. A cookie? That's no point. So yeah, he's scrambling up onto the work surface with her because it's easier to get the cookies from the jar, which is in that up cupboard of upness. Yes. Anyway, cookies are acquired and had.
Cookies, yes, good. And I think like while they're eating cookies, Tally is very curious, and she's gonna be asking, so when we went to knock on the door, what were you doing in that room?
That's editing. When you have to cut and splice things together, when you filmed everything, like, we make movies here. So when we've got all of the footage, that's what you call, like, the film reels. Once you've had the film reels made, you have to stick them back to back, like stick them together to make the whole thing. And I could show you if you like. It's easier that way.
Oh, yeah. I want to see. Cause I haven't seen like a whole lot of movies. I've seen a couple of them, and they're very cool. And I want to. I kind of want to see how they're.
This one. You're gonna love this one. Oh, it's. I have to say, I think I wrote them myself. Yes, I have a feeling this is probably where this FPS ends, in hopping off the counter with cookies in hand to go and help Grandad finish editing Act 2, Scene 3.
Yes!
Yay.
Yes!
Oh,
This was very soft and cute. This was lovely.
Oh, that was adorable.
Thank you for being patient, Fable.
Oh, no. Hey, man, I was enjoying listening. It was very good. Besides, it gives Bob a chance to look around Engineer's office and be like, this is a mess as usual.
Engineer's just gonna come back and get roasted.
Engineer's gonna come back and find that his office has been organized.
No! He knew where everything was! It was an organized mess!
No, there's everything that was... Listen, Bob organized it so Engineer knows where things are. It was just so things are less likely to fall over and get into foot space.
But that's how he likes it! Oh well.
You want to step on your stuff, sir?
Break while I go and get some, gargle water, and then we'll do the second bit?
Yep, I'm gonna pause the record.
Yes.
I'm gonna pause the recording, and we will be
Break
back for
time.
the second bit in just a bit. See you folks next time on Triple Feature.
See you, folks.
Oh, we're back. We're back, and I'm so mad I didn't get that what just happened on recording.
Liz was accidentally unmuted and then realized and made a squeak, and I've never heard Liz make any sort of squeak noise. That was amazing. Anyway,
It was really funny.
they are fantastic.
Just that moment, just
Right,
like that
we're back.
moment of panic before muting.
It was beautiful.
Oh,
Right,
so
leaving the chat zone, back to gaming.
Back to game zone.
Back-
The zone of
Okay.
roll.
We are back
And
in
in fact, for this
zone.
one, we have a little bit of introduction, so we don't have to panic so much
Yee.
about how we start this one.
Yee! I wrote a little bit of narration. Yee-hoo. Okay. Ahem. Give me a moment.
You may have many.
I have many, yes. I have many moments. Anyway. Okay. Our scene opens in an undisclosed location, somewhere in Inkwell. We fade in from darkness to a black and white room that resembles a kitchen, complete with cabinets, counters, a fridge, and an island in the center of the room. There are appliances that clutter the counters: a blender, a toaster, a few pots and pans. Notably, none of them look used. It's almost as if they were just simply props, random things to give the illusion that this kitchen is lived in. Absolutely everything is in various shades of muddy gray, which makes the one and only color in the room stand out like a sore thumb. Towards the right side of the kitchen stands a lone, abnormally tall figure, casually leaning against the counter. He's dressed in a fancy suit with a tailcoat that's just as gray as the rest of his surroundings, save for a bow tie that is an exceedingly eye-bleedingly neon pink. Mr. Misery's one open eye absently stares down at his hands, which are nowadays adorned in actual Toonkind gloves. A mess of glowing bright pink strings are tangled around his fingers in what's recognizably a cat's cradle. With a few practice motions, he flicks his fingers and changes the shape of the strings in his hands, alternating between a number of different string figures as his gaze turns up towards the only door on the opposite side of the room.
Honey, I'm home!
In an abrupt motion, the door slams open with a bang, and with it comes an explosion of color. Everything from red to violet and everything in between bursts out and spreads throughout half the room, replacing most of the grays with eye-popping, oversaturated hues. The colors of the set alter and shift between the black and white and the brilliant colors, as if both color schemes were fighting to see which would be the most prevalent in the scene. In the end, the room is divided in half, with a rainbow of neon colors on the left and the dull grays on the right.
Guess who bought avocados? Let's eat them on toast and destroy the economy.
Oh, avocados! Yay!
What, you don't like avocados? What, are you allergic?
I don't eat, if you don't recall.
Oh, right. Well, never mind. We can turn them into a pie and throw them at someone. Hopefully they'll be allergic.
Hopefully. Mr. M goes back to looking at the cat's cradle.
The jester, for it is he, promptly drops his shopping bags, which he absolutely did not need to buy groceries anyway, but they're all over the floor now. That's the kind of roomie that you're living with. And they were roommates. And he makes his way sort of bouncily across the room. He came in like in the classic sort of Dick Van Dyke show outfit, you know, like a working father coming back to his spouse. And this theme kind of continues, but he changes each step he takes. So he started out as like kind of one of kind, then he's CGI, and then he's sort of 2D UPA, kind of a car crash Picasso looking thing. And by the time he's like over to sitting or standing loomingly behind Mr. M, he's kind of a real kind. He does kind of look like someone from I Love Lucy or
Oh,
something.
that's so creepy.
Yeah, very creepy. And he says, "Hey, buddies, baby sweetie pie, you doing all right? Recovering from any, metaphorically being shish kebabbed by a small angry stuffed toy? Or was it the tiny 2D barred roast that hurt the most? I should wonder, my poor little wooden head."
Yes, thank you for the lovely reminders. I'm quite fine, thank you.
Really? You don't have to lie to me, sweetie. I know you're suffering.
Me? Lie to
He
you?
just like the cheek squish, head rotate thing.
Me lie to you? Goodness, what an absolutely terrible idea. I wouldn't even think of it. And as he talks, he actually starts to move. He actually goes to the shopping bags and picks them up.
Such a neat freak. Oh, relax, honey, relax. We've got plenty in the cupboards, after all.
Well, we can't...
And he slams one open, and inside the cupboard you can see, like, some random kidnapped toon who's all tied up, and, like, you know, with a gag in his mouth, and, like, you just get, like, enough of the shot of this guy to realize what an awful situation it is, and then he shuts the cupboard and is like, well, anyway, the traffic you wouldn't believe. Had to blow up at least 3 tankers to get back home.
3? You don't say. And how'd you manage not to draw such attention to yourself?
Well, you know, bit of fire here, bit of smoke there, bit of incorporealness. It goes a long way.
Must have been quite a colourful scene, then.
Yes, lots of reds. Quite a lot of red. On the floor as well. A bit of a mess, really. Someone's going to have to tidy that up. Not me, though! And he's jumping onto the sofa and has turned into a sort of grotesque parody of a Sesame Street Muppet spawn. It's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like Bert and Ernie, but like he's just like, yeah, there now, sitting next to you with his fake-looking stuffed legs crossed over.
Mr. M has actually taken as they've been talking, Mr. M has taken the bag of groceries to the fridge, he's opened it up, where yet another poor sorry sod of a toon is wrapped up in pink string, looks at Mr. M going, but Mr. M just puts the groceries in the fridge and closes it.
We have got enough misery in, haven't we? You are, like, getting your medication, right?
Oh yes, don't you worry. It's enough to get me by for now. But I won't be...
Sure, I can pop out and get a few more. Very easy to do.
A tempting offer. But with these I should be able to to not be such a burden anymore to you. You've been such a...
Because you are so heavy.
Oh, is that a remark on my weight? How rude!
No, not really. It just means you're dense. He's somehow done a backflip and is slapping you on the shoulder. In fact, you've gone through a bit of a visual change since being roommates with this extremely animated character. Would you like to describe how Mr. M looks now?
Yeah. So, for people who, just to recap for people who don't recall, back during the Animus game and you know any subsequent mention, blah 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 blah. I'm getting my words mixed up. Don't mind me. Mr. M, before coming to be roomies with the Jester, was if I'm not mistaken, was a real kind puppet fellow. But as of recent, he's been looking more and more toonish as of late. He's had a bit of a redesign since coming to live with the colorful personality that is the Jester.
Colorful and very invasive.
Oh, indeed.
It's what comes of being an influencer. That was so bad. I think I just
casually posts new
like,
ref.
Geez.
Casually posts new ref.
It's lovely new art, delicious, tasty.
He's got a fun little coat. He's got gloves. He's fashionable. His mouth can actually open. Before his mouth was just painted on. Mr. M's mouth was just painted on, but now it actually it moves. It can open, which I think has been a notably odd experience. Mr. M can't actually doesn't actually have emotions. He can do facsimile emotions, but that's about it. But occasionally, I imagine this is something Jester has Jester has noticed. Mr. M would occasionally would reach up and hold his jaw and testingly open his mouth. Occasionally, yeah, that's doing that now, huh?
In fact, when he does that, this may not be happening right now. Maybe it is. I don't know. But you just make an insight roll for me, sweetie, darling.
Oh, I'm making the insight roll. How lovely. Where the heck is your insight? There it is.
The guy with no emotions is making an insight roll.
Yeah, it's not gonna be as high as it's not gonna be incredibly high because that's not where all the.
Let's see the net 20.
It's a 6.
That's a 6. Yep, that works just super. The gesture is fine with a 6 because you never really fully notice how deeply he's enjoying the fact that he has apparently started changing you slightly and definitely making an impact on you in quite a few different ways, subtle or not.
Oh man, it's so unnerving to hear you say that, especially with how much I know of. I actually don't know a lot about the jester. I keep saying gesture. God, I can't.
Honestly, you could call him the gesture. He is extremely animated. That's his whole thing.
I know, but I don't. My words. Well,
I'm not going to call you out on it. Like, if you keep saying gesture, I'm just going to be like, maybe there's a nickname. Maybe that's Mr. M's nickname for this guy. He'd love that.
You know what? I'll take it. You're giving me an out. I'll take it.
Yeah, I think it's a cute name. And yeah, suitably to fit this, he's almost turned into a sort of Mob Psycho 100 grotesque, or it's an insult to say that he looks a bit like Reagan Arataka right now. But yeah, the multiple hand smears and dapper suit situation with a slightly Ghibli-esque twist. Yeah, that's what he's doing right now, and he's like, so tell me about your day. Did you stay here doing nothing again?
Well, it's not nothing per se, but there's not much to do while I'm restocking, as it were. Though I
leave you all these lovely games to play. And there are games all over the place. There's like Monopoly and cards and chess pieces, like stuck to the walls and shit. Like, I don't think video games exist outside of space in this world. But like, yeah, he's left you lots of toys. And like, there's definitely like a giant, unnervingly smiley rocking horse in the corner. Like baby toys all over the place.
Oh, I just had an image in my head, but I'll share it later. Mr. M makes the facsimile of a flat look at all the stuff that jester has left for him, and goes, "Ah, yes, all your little toys and games. Not quite the entertainment I look for. Though, there was one thing I decided to do. Didn't quite go the way I was hoping, but it was amusing to say the least."
Oh, do tell. And an animated cup of tea has poured itself from midair, a la the genie.
Well, you're already quite aware of the tunes I've had running, so I thought I'd give one of my little puppets a little visit. Along with a certain bard that you might be familiar with, maybe not.
Do go on. Yeah, he's making another cup of tea. There's like a whole string of these cups of tea which he is not drinking, and they're kind of like, it's kind of like there's an invisible sushi thing like going along, and they just keep falling off the end and smashing onto the floor, but then they disappear because the whole thing is like, it's an illusion.
I'd say man, it sucks that it's an illusion, because I would say Mr. M would probably like reach out and like catch like a teacup to hold it, because this is apparently tea time, and you hold a teacup while you're having tea time.
We will say that one of them is real, and like you can catch it.
Cool.
Like he uses prestidigitation and was hoping it would smash on the floor, so that would be annoying for you. But you caught. Well done.
Oh yes, it's nothing more annoying. Now that I'm thinking about it, it is a bit more annoying. Seems my little puppet has managed to cut her strings.
Dramatic gasp, and all of the teas drop onto the floor and go psh. He looks scandalized.
Yes, it's quite awful. But to be honest, that puppet was getting a little old for a while now. It could be a blessing in disguise.
Oh, so you're Mr. M, the big boy. You don't need the tiny play dolls anymore. I see. Well, if you're looking for new warlocks, I can always go shopping. And he again like changes form to a kind of like freakazoid-esque look, and again like it's like shopping spree. There's like sunglasses. He's got a Hawaiian shirt on, and like money just kind of goes push around him.
Oh, would you? That would be. You've already been so generous already. I would hate to inconvenience you further.
Oh, it's not inconveniencing me. I assure you. What is mine is yours. Mi casa su casa. And he's like pushing you to like have Mr. M sit down, and then he's like blurring around you, bringing you a martini, putting a little stool under your like feet, and like plumping up your cushions. And again, with that failed insight from before, you don't see the greedy look and the like slightly claw-like hands, and like for all he seems to be doing you all these favors, there is clearly something he's getting out of it that you're completely unaware of.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, for the audience, inside the mind of Mr. M, I don't think Mr. M particularly cares at the moment, especially with the low insight. But also in Mr. M's mind, it's a case of, well, if this guy's gonna go ahead, like, I'm still trying to get my strength back up. If this guy's gonna go ahead and do a good bit of the muscle work for me, I mean, I'd be a fool not to take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's right. He's also so very wrong. He's like, well, don't you worry your pretty puppety head about it. I will pull my strings and get my boys to get some connections. I will get you a buffet selection, see what you like the look of. They come in a lot of flavors. Lovely. What are you looking for? Like a housing, a rubber hose? What was the last one? I don't know. What can I do?
Leave a little rubber hose. I could go for some more variety, but speaking of your boys, how many of those do you even have left?
This is fucking run out! Oh, you don't understand. Reading like that. You know how long the Yakuza have been around? There's a lot of these. There's a lot. Oh, there's so many.
Oh,
and I keep making more friends. You know, I'm just so popular. He's doing the rubbing his hands thing, and like, this isn't all bravado. Like, that Yakuza is extensive, and because it has a history, like, there's almost like dynasties now of these malevolent toons. Some of whom are more obliging to his very much sinister ploys than used to be. But those people. But he keeps saying making new friends with a bit of emphasis. I don't know how much you or Mr. M knows about his previous exploits.
Let's roll the history.
Yeah.
See how much Mr. M knows.
Yeah.
He's been in the misery market, so anything. So at the very least, any stuff that Yakuza caused that caused bad. That's a 10.
10. You feel like there's an echo in your brain that you're like trying to remember something, but you can't quite get it. And this guy's all over the place, so it's very distracting. Also, like, yeah, again, you're recovering, and this guy seems to be taking care of the work, and he's constantly talking nonsense. So like, this is probably just more bullshit. The audience, however, through the fourth wall, do recall that the Five Nights at Freddy parody did have animatronics, and the Jester has friends of an eccentric scientist nature. There's experiments going on with that kind of thing, and the whole transforming toons was a thing. So there really is a sort of making new friends is something that's on the table. He's very much been dabbling in such fields. In fact, there's like one guy who's like a real kind, but maybe he won't be for so long because he didn't want to be. But that may be even in the future guy. We'll find out.
That's not concerning at all.
Yeah. But basically, he has no concerns of running out of manpower, and he pulls out what looks like a cell phone. It's like a flip phone, and he flips it once, but then it flips like about 10 more times just to sell the gag. And he says, "Marvin, get me everybody." No, not everybody on the line. No, this was a mistake. I am not doing a conference call. No, what I mean is, I have a friend who's feeling a little bit needy, let's say. We need someone who's gullible, vulnerable, hopefully kind of useful, like a little bit, but not too much, because overly competent is a threat, you know. Yeah, that one. Okay, yeah, you get a line up. And I'll bring my baby bouncy boy over here and we'll have a look. Probably put the ones we don't want in a blender. It's just a mess if we have to keep them around. Yeah, okay. Ciao. Yeah, ciao, darling. And he hangs up.
Truly, you have quite a way with people, don't you?
Oh, yes. Well, you know, once you've done the whole modified memory and a little bit of mind control here and there, they're not so much people anymore, but I have a way with words, let's put it that way.
Well, alright then.
Okay, so what am I going to do? Leave you here, put some cucumber slices on your eyes, and I'll just go out and do all the hard work for you.
Oh, that would be lovely. Perhaps sans the cucumbers, though. I'd hate for those to go to waste.
That's true, but the aesthetic.
Mr. M just blinks flatly at you, Jester.
He seems weirdly like you might have heard like that word came with a little bit of aggression in it. Like the gag, man. That's important.
Mr. M just blinks flatly. You're talking to someone who like gets it, but at the same time isn't going to entirely entertain your nonsense.
Yeah, the jester kind of does a deflating sigh with a sort of whoopee cushion sound effect. It's just like, ugh, you're so much work. But it's just as well that I love a bit of work. I mean, you've got to burn up that energy. Nothing worse than being bored. Okay, I'm gonna go do my thing, and then I'll come back, and we'll see what happens.
Yes.
Because, you know, I would do anything for my favorite puppet.
I feel like that's...
Yeah?
I think Mr. M just watches him go before going back to his...
he swings out of the door with one of his maniacal laughs, which I don't have the energy to do right now, sorry guys, and slams the door shut, leaving Mr. M with that slightly ominous last line by himself.
And Mr. M goes back to his cat's cradle.
Okay. Let's see.
As the jester leaves, the set changes once again, and all the colors that had once filled half of the room bleed out, and the blacks and whites take place. There's a kind of tension in the air. It's hard to put your finger on what it could be. Okay, there we go.
I just love the awful odd couple energy. Like, I can't remember who came up with the idea that these two are roommates, but
I can't believe Mr. M is the straight man of this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just so much chaotic energy to deal with this guy. So, oh boy, yeah.
Oh boy, dynamics! We're certainly making them.
And they
I love the new design. It's very cool.
It's very good, and they were roommates.
Excellent.
I'm very pleased with the new design. Look at him. Look at my stinky boy.
He's a butt.
He's a stinky man. Stinky man. And yet somehow not quite as stinky as mine, but anyway.
Yeah, somehow yours managed to... I mean, it was a low bar to begin with, but Jester really ducked under there.
Yeah, he does. How low can he go? You would be surprised. Negative numbers are an option. Right. I'm gonna just have a little stretch of the legs, and then we'll do part 3.
Yay!
One more break. One more break.
One
yes,
more
yes,
break.
yes.
Okay.
I shall pause recording. We shall be back for part 3 of Triple
We shall
Feature.
return shortly.
Until,
Yes.
until then. And we are back. to our third and final feature for today's FPS.
Exciting.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
Hooray, I have more work to do. Wow, real zigzag with this one because I get to go back to being the nice guy now.
Now we get to go back to being the characters that we genuinely love.
Not garbage man,
Yeah.
stink boy.
No garbage boys. Only good soft dads.
Wholesome content. This is
Wholesome
what we-
content.
We started with soft, we're ending with soft.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Soft.
You have basically requisitioned the beginning of this one because the engineer went somewhere else to do the first one, and you said that Bob went to the engineer's office to wait for him. So
Yes.
what is Bob doing in the engineer's office right now?
Bob is currently Bob. So to paint a picture, Bob took one step into engineer's office, took one look, and went, "Oh, okay, all right. Well, I'm sure he wouldn't mind if I just cleaned the floor up a little bit." And Bob began cleaning up engineer's office. He didn't try and move things too much, so that way engineer could still find things where he left them. But clean up the floor and just make it so things aren't gonna fall onto said floor and into foot traffic.
I mean, the engineer's an active guy. Sometimes he puts things down when, he didn't mean to put them down there. He meant to put them back, but, it's just easier, and he thought of something else, and, he'll remember that it's there later. He usually does. Usually. Yeah,
Mhm.
but I will say that while you're tidying up, you're not intentionally doing this. However, I would like you to make an investigation roll.
Hee-hoo.
Which I would assume Bob is quite good at, considering.
Yeah, he is quite good at. I was 13, no!
Okay, well, I mean, again, it's accidental, and yeah. So you're tidying up pieces of paper, and there's a lot of pieces of paper. Oh my god, there's always so much paperwork in a movie studio. Oh my god. And you're putting some things back into one of these. It's like on those writing desks where you pull the top down, and it becomes a flat surface. So you can push it back up, and it's like a tilted surface. And you put something back into it, and when you put it back, your hand presses against part of this thing that you didn't know existed, and you hear a click.
Huh? What the?
You don't have to do anything else about it, but you heard a click.
Bob kind of looks around wait, did he do that? And I think he's actually gonna, lift his hand, very carefully. Look at his hand. Look at the thing, wherever his hand just was. And he's just gonna slowly put his hand back to where it was.
Okay. Nothing else moves. Maybe make a perception check.
Yeah, it's
Because,
super
a 13 is not good enough to immediately know what you just did.
10.
10.
Wow, I am not rolling good.
Nah, it's okay. Basically, you feel like part of the desk maybe moved, but you weren't looking at it at the time. And there's all sorts of rolled up pieces of paper in here. They could be anything. They could be diagrams for new sets, or that one looks like it could be a rolled up pan for a background. So you don't actually know what you did basically, but there is something that tickles the back of your brain, with maybe just the hint of panic when you hear the door handle turning behind you.
Oh. Sir, is that you?
Who do you think it is? I'm not gonna knock to come in my own office.
I don't know. There's several people who come into your office who don't knock.
Hey, but they're usually my children anyway. Hello? What is it that you want to tell me that we've spent too much money on now?
Well, actually, wait, where's Tally?
Sally's in the kitchen, and we had cookies, and then I showed her how to do a bit of editing, and so I have removed all of the stuff that she might damage accidentally, so she's editing her own pieces of footage.
Huh, okay.
It's alright, it's very easy to use. I've given her some old reels that, cutting floor stuff, and she can learn how to do it.
Is it safe for a child to use on her own?
It's extremely safe. I wouldn't have left her if it wasn't.
Bob squints.
I wouldn't.
Alright, okay. Well, this might actually, well, if anything, that's convenient, because, I actually wanted to ask something, that involves her.
Oh, well, I can go and get her if you like.
No, it involves her, but it's not something I don't know how to bring it up to her, and I thought to ask you first, since you have a bit more, experience in the matter.
Okay. And he'd actually started to walk back towards the door, but then his head does the 180-degree owl thing, and he just stopped with his body facing the door and his head facing you, and it's kind of weird because he crosses his arms, but they're like behind him.
I think at this point Bob has moved around the desk to be on the same side as engineer. Yeah, so
I'm gonna just quickly, because you said that, I'm gonna make a passive perception roll, see if he notices what you did. Oh, he does. Or wait, if that's above my passive, does that mean I don't notice?
what?
I always get this wrong. Like when you're doing a passive perception roll.
Oh
you
no,
just roll.
passive perception is like how you notice things automatically. So like
Yeah,
it's
that's what I mean. He's not
10
actively
plus
looking for this.
your perception bonus, which is how you notice things just passively. Making perception rolls is when you're like actively searching.
No,
for
like
stuff.
that's what I mean. Like I've rolled for the environment versus my passive perception.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Bob has
okay, like the DC.
Yeah, so that's
Okay,
higher
that makes
than-
sense.
I mean, Bob's not
So
trying
does
to
that
hide
mean
the fact that he's cleaned the place. Bob's not gonna hide
No,
that.
like, he's noticed that you've cleaned it. It's just what you did to his desk specifically. I'm gonna say that he didn't notice because I think that's the way around that works. It's been a long time since I used this mechanic, and I feel stupid.
Fair.
But
Okay,
it's
I'm going
funny.
back
It's
into-
probably funnier if he didn't notice anyway. So yeah, he's just gonna wait till you say what you're gonna say.
Well. Oh, hold on. I just got past a note. Oh, sweet. Thank you. My dad was passing me a note about mail stuff. Anyways. Alright, Bob. I got knocked out of character for a second. Give me a moment.
It's alright. Engineer has walked his body around to face in the same direction as his head because he realizes that this is slightly uncomfortable and maybe a bit unnerving.
Bob, yeah, Bob, actually, you haven't, engineer, you notice you haven't, seen this in a while, but Bob is fidgeting with his hands, and he actually has not done that in a good long while. It's been a while since he's done that nervous tick.
I'll just do a little inside check. 23.
23.
Okay, so like he has noticed, and he knows that this means what?
Well, Bob, it takes Bob a moment to actually collect his thoughts. So I wanted to ask, because I've been a bit new at this for a while. When you adopted Short's kid, how did you approach them about that?
Do you mean the adoption office, or do you mean the child?
The child. I already got myself familiar with the paperwork. It's just a matter of well, you can't really adopt the child unless the child wants to be adopted, but I don't really know how to ask the child, if you get my meaning.
And with the 23, he does. He puts 1 and 1 and 1 together and gets 3. So, like, yeah, the whole thing with tally and you're fidgeting and then this question, and yeah, you don't get a light bulb because he basically turns into one. This sort of sly and very pleased smile has been slowly oozing up the side of his face, and he is positively lighting up the room.
Bob has to shield his eyes a little bit, like, sir, okay, well, you're very happy, but you're apparently very happy to hear that, but I can't see you very well when you're doing that.
Sorry, okay, I will just take a breath. That is so darling. And he glows a little bit brighter, but then he calms down a bit because he's just like, okay. But it's just so cute. Oh my god! Yay! He calms himself down and says, well, in terms of Rory, it was more like they adopted me, so that's not the best example. Maybe a better one would be Snailian, because they weren't as on the side of approaching me first. Like, it came up as an offer, and I was so delighted that they took it. But yeah, she and I had a conversation a bit, and it was after Rory had accepted. But the thing is, the moment I met Rory, she was calling me train dad. He was so determined. At first, I was overwhelmed, and but in the space of a very few hours, it was just apparent. And poor thing didn't have anybody else, and anyway. It took a while for me to get to a place where I felt that I could accept the offer from them, considering my financial status for a while back there. And he kicks the carpet slightly, remembering not a happy chapter in his life, because he had wanted to adopt Shortskid, but he was ruined in a lot of ways. Bob probably remembers.
He wasn't really around during that time, but he's seen the paperwork to know financially where Engineer was at the time.
Yeah, he was homeless, so it was super bad. So yeah, he shakes off that sort of clammy memory, and says, well, so basically I had to make sure that I was in a position that I could responsibly look after a child or two, and then I sat down, and there was quite a lot of things that led up to it. It was quite a dramatic sequence of events, now that I come to think of it. But with Rory, it was very straightforward, as many things are. Rory knows what they like, and they will do anything to make it happen. And they're usually right. With Snailian had more to talk about, because they did have family, and they have Gregory. I don't know if you met Gregory, have you?
That's the dragon, I believe, yes?
Aye, Gregory. Oh, they are. Oh, he's fantastic. I managed to insult him once, and I'm never doing it again.
I think I've seen Gregory.
I
think I've seen Gregory more on Moose' side of the studio more often.
I think he's got more room. We've got a lot of props hanging over here, and I don't know, the whole space thing. I feel like Snailian, coming from space, that's where she feels more comfortable. So it's just a bit more of a playground. Also, I'll be honest, we've been making so many movies on this side, you can barely move. So DJ Moose has been slightly calmer that side of the studio. I'm not sure what he's up to these days about that. Maybe they're working on something. I dread to think. Anyway, so Snailian did have more to talk about, but the point was that we talked about it. That's the only way you're gonna be able to address this, is to sit down with Tally and make the offer and talk it out.
I guess
you have to respect her as a person. Coming to me to talk about it is all well and good. But the point is, this is a mutual respect situation. This isn't something that I personally can give you much advice on. If Tally wants to be a part of your life in that way, then she will tell you. Very straightforward. Children are extremely good to talk about in terms of making big decisions, much easier than grown-ups, I will say.
Oh no, I've my time with Rad and enough time with Shortskid Rory. enough time with Shortskid jumping into my office through the vent system. No, I'm well aware of that by now. I guess just she's been through so much, Engineer. I don't even know all the details, but I still know that it is so much, and I don't want, and I know that there's still things that she doesn't fully know about yet. And I don't want her to I wouldn't want her to feel like she would need to make a decision on something just yet that she doesn't fully understand.
Yeah, he gives that the slow silent nod, which he has just previously been given Tally a couple of, and he actually gestures for Bob to sit down, and he's asking Bob to sit down in actually like the chair behind the desk. Like that's not something he does very often, but it's the most comfortable chair.
Bob blinks, and I think he actually does like he looks at the chair, and then he looks at Engineer and does like a tilt of his head, like, you sure?
Hey, I'll sit on the desk. It's fine. I don't particularly end up sitting down there very much unless I'm writing, so just sit down. It's easier to have a conversation.
Well, all right. And yeah, Bob will go ahead and take a seat.
Okay, and the engineer does it's like the teacher move, the cool teacher move where he sits on his desk instead of like standing there or anything like a normal human being would do. But you know, there is like politely. There are guest chairs, but like nah, whatever. This is a much more personal way of doing it.
It is a personal conversation, so.
Yeah. So I'm just going to do a straight D20 to see if something happens. 6. No, it doesn't. Never mind. That was to see if he dislodges the thing that you started in motion on his desk, but you didn't, so never mind. So yeah, he's just gonna think for a second, and he's like, well, you clearly have reservations about what Talia's been through, and maybe what you've been through. So what are those? Tell me first, and then maybe you'll have an easier time addressing them with her.
Oh, well, I mean, goodness, I feel like I've said most of them. Well, first off, being new to being a dad, didn't really think I was a dad until Short's kid of all people pointed it out. And you know, Rad's been learning how to be a kid. That's something that's actually new to him. When I made him, he wasn't a kid.
There's actually a small chuckle that doesn't actually, like, audially make its way out, but there's definitely a sort of a wry laugh inside the engineer, because when he met you and Rad, he just immediately assumed that you were his dad. He didn't question the fact that it was a radio. It's like, you're Bob, you're Rad's dad.
Yeah, it's a case of it was something that is very obvious to people looking at them, but not obvious to them themselves, just because of where they came from.
Right. Yeah, he's sort of. I'm gonna go off that previous insight and sort of say he's kind of got a grip on that's what's happening. So he's gonna try and poke that a bit further. So what is it about the fact that you're a father that it hadn't really occurred to you? Or what is it about that word, maybe, that is... don't know, it does have a lot of weight to it. It's my most cherished title. Never mind the fact that I'm a director. Compared to that, being a father, that is something. So you may be struggling to deal with the label more than the actual things that it entails, because as far as I can see, you're already very qualified.
Oh no, that's what I've been told. It's the funniest thing. The more I look into the word, the more I look into what the more research I do about what a father would be. It's strange, because I see a lot of things that that are in that word and in myself that were kind of already there. And I suppose part of it is just, I guess now that I'm more of a person, or maybe I always was a person, but I'm realizing that I'm a person. It's been a very strange thing coming here and becoming less of a nobody. It's been very strange, but I mean, not that I'm complaining. It's just been strange. But at least in this circumstance, at least with this, I'm I'm more worried about her.
Okay, so we've boiled it down to that. We've progressed quite a lot on the impact that this decision will make for you. So what is it about Tally specifically? Because you already are doing a fantastic job with Rad.
Well, I'm when I met Tally, she was hiding in the vent. But I think she's the first.
Wait, that's the first time you met her? She was hiding in a vent
Yes.
here?
Yeah, I thought she was Short's kid or Rat at first. Because
We
they're
really have to work on security. Have we like improved that from the outside, getting into the vents? I mean, I don't mind Short's kid and people using them to get about inside the studio, but as a means of access, that's not ideal.
Oh, I'm sure there are improvements to be made, but I have a feeling that's not gonna I have a feeling that's not gonna stop Tally or anyone who's got enough I can't think of a word. I want to say gumption to get in.
That is not exactly the words of comfort that I needed. And he gives you an expression which is the sort of, hey, remember the multiple assassination attempts?
Bob remembers, and Bob gives an understanding look. But you have to understand with Bob, he's just come to accept that this is a thing that just things happen, and things will continue to happen.
It's true. However, that might be something that may be slightly more preventable. So yeah, the engineer's just going to quickly scribble a note on that on the desk.
Bob chuckles a
Very
little.
long-suffering sigh. Anyway, continue.
Well, oh goodness, yeah, I found her in the vent, and I think she was the first kid I found that looked scared. I didn't quite understand why, and I don't know. The first thing I wanted to do was help her not be scared.
I would say that that's a extremely noble instinct, and again, a pretty good sign that you're appropriate for the position. What is it that you're afraid of? You're afraid of something.
I'm afraid of it being too much too soon. I'm more than I think I can say this confidently. I know better than most what it's like to have your world suddenly flipped upside down in just a short matter of time. And it can be a lot. And I don't want her to get, and she's obviously gone through a huge shift in her life, and I don't want to add to something that might overwhelm her.
But that's where you're getting the wrong end of the stick, I think. And yeah, he sort of swings his feet up to sit cross-legged. And this isn't something he does very often, but like this is a very personal conversation. So he's dropping all of his normal decorum. Like this is very much how he talks with his family. Like he often sits on the floor with his grandkids and just like, yeah. This is the engineer being like your friend. This isn't the engineer, the director, or the boss, or the person who's asking you, please, can we have 100 more gold? I need to blow up that spaceship. This is like your buddy, and he's just like he does like the prayer hands to his face a little bit for a moment, and he's just like, listen, you're looking at yourself like you're another burden to this wee bairn. If anything, offering her the kind of emotional security that a father or any parent can offer is going to alleviate a lot of the stress that she's undergoing. And the fact that her world has been turned upside down, that is a turmoil of a sort. But you should have seen her just now talking about Crunkle and her new friends, and just looking in the editing room there. She's so full of life and optimism, which I don't think she's had an opportunity to have access to. If you are there as a solid foundation, she can reach for the stars. You are not another burden. You're gonna be the person who's pushing her towards the sky.
Huh. And Bob, I think he's a bit, he is a bit taken aback by the drop of decorum. But he also, he's thinking, he definitely is, he nods a little bit, thinking. And I don't think he knows what to say in response, honestly.
I think the engineer is going to look around because he's said a mouthful, and he's just going to let Bob process that for a second. And the 13. Would you say that's good enough to notice that something's awry with the desk?
I would say so. It's above a 10.
He's very used to this desk. He starts like fussing because like you've moved things away from where he likes to have them. Because this is like a drafts table, so like this is you don't put the set square over there. What are you thinking? And so he's gonna go and like shove things around, and then he notices that like you see his body sort of kind of freeze for a little moment, and then he does something that results in the same sort of click that you heard before, and he's kind of looking like he is a little bit caught out somehow.
I think Bob gets pulled out of his thoughts when he hears the click and goes, oh, it was the desk that was making that noise.
Oh, so you did that? Okay, well that's something very okay. If it's you, I don't particularly mind.
I was wondering what I didn't break it, did I?
No, well, I appreciate you. You haven't been anywhere since. Not said anything to anybody. No.
What would I say to people?
Well, it's not the most secret compartment, apparently, because you managed to do it by accident. But anyway, it's just sometimes in movies you have to keep secrets because you have rivals around, often very close, next door even, and you have to keep things under wraps. So I have a little secret compartment here, and you see now that like there's a sort of slice out of the bottom of the desk, which looked solid before, and it's just kind of chunked out slightly, and he levers it upwards, and there's like a hollow cavity underneath the desk.
Oh, look at that. That's actually
I've been using this for a different reason lately, and it is something I was thinking of passing by you.
Oh, go on.
Well, this is where I may have to break your heart a little bit. And he's pulled out a set of rolls, and you recognize these because you're an artificer. These are kind of the blue paper rolls that you would use for blueprints for a design of some sort, for sure.
Oh, are you building something? What are you building? Oh, how much is this gonna cost?
The thing is, you may have noticed that we're looking happy in the wallet department, happier than the studio has ever looked, and that's not by accident. The whole making a trinity and lots of merchandise besides, and I wanted this to be a big commercial success. There's no rose tinting that. I needed the money, and this is what I need the money for. And he has brought it over to the desk and unrolls it, and you see this, which is a blueprint for a train. And it's a weird-looking train, and it seems to be like attached to the rails. And the rails seem to loop around and up and over. And the longer you look at it, the more you realize this is kind of like a paddle boat system. And this is, I haven't done this on this diagram because hell, I can't do engines. But it's the fuel system is very much the same kind that the taffy train used to have. Only this train, name patent pending, it's still in the work, no idea what to call it. This train runs off saltwater taffy, and it is a seagoing train.
Engineer roll insight.
Oh boy, okay.
I mean, it's gonna be a low bar to hit. Yeah, 16's more than enough. You see Bob looking at these blueprints, and you see his eyes just like slowly widening and sparkling. And actually, there are sparkles that have started floating around his head. Bob has gotten much more toony the more he's worked here, and he is just like staring in awe at this blueprint. Like, oh, look at that! And you've just how you've designed the rails so that's brilliant. How you have the rails connected like a circle, so you don't need to actually make a new railway. This thing could theoretically go wherever it wants to. Oh, and on the ocean too. Saltwater tap. Oh, you need a lot of saltwater taffy.
Well, the main thing is to have a lot of taffy. The salt water is provided. You'll understand this is an ocean-going vehicle.
Oh, I see. So it's taffy and the salt water from the ocean. Oh, that's brilliant.
It doesn't even need cooling water. You just let it come in.
Oh, using the ocean as coolant. That's brilliant. Would this be able to... Is this just for the ocean, or can it go on land as well?
I'm not sure. I mean, we'd have to make a prototype. I feel like it might be able to handle shallows, but I don't know. I feel like it might be a bit rough on the old paddle system. The main point of this train is that it can be a seafaring train, or you can disengage it from the rail loop system and then put it on the main rail.
Okay, I was about to say it'd probably be a good idea to have some sort of land mode for it, for when it, like, if it ever needs to, I guess, dock.
You can basically unzip the gauge and just attach it to your normal rail, and it'll run all on to that, and then you can use it on the usual. The thing is, we still have the red lace line. We lost the taffy train, bless us all, but we still have the international railway system, and it seems like a pity just to, entirely shelve the whole emergency system. Like, I still have connections with stations. We can still have like an SOS, like, sort of, if someone really needs help, we just fire at all stations and see who's closest. But if we have a seafaring train, then not only can we start to branch out to other continents, which I'm now very interested in doing, thanks to my dearest road, but we can also access people from different places from the dockside.
And who would be manning this train? And Bob gives Engineer a look.
I mean, just to begin with, I was thinking, the thing is, like, we've made 6 movies in a year, and I have to say, even for me, that's quite a lot. I think I need to have a wee break from the whole movie making side. Also, it'll throw people who are trying to put a bullet in me for a while if I'm off somewhere else other than the studio. And the kids, they need to have their own wings. So, like, we're gonna have a hiatus on this the western side of the studio, I feel. And until it's made and we're sure that it works, I would probably have to take command. But I would find someone who could drive it for me. I mean, maybe Daisy and Maisie, they used to drive the taffy train. They'd be very able to do this.
And Bob nods along, understanding, like, yeah, no, that good bit of that makes sense. And he looks back down at the blueprint. Well, I can understand. I could certainly.
You're shocking me by not immediately hitting me over the head with it for, like, spending all the money that we made on this.
I mean, it's good. I mean, it's good that you're putting the money somewhere, and you're certainly putting it towards something that could help other people. I mean, I can't really. I guess it's good that you showed me this, because I can make sure the money actually gets put in the right places for it.
He looks a bit flabbergasted. He was almost certain that you were going to say that this was just ridiculous, and why are you doing this, and the studio needs the money more, or, like, you're supposed to hold on to your profits. But he's immediately putting all of this money back into more work, which is this train.
Plus a hiatus could be plus a seasonal hiatus could be good for everyone else working. I mean, everyone's been working non-stop
Right,
on the
exactly. We're
trilogy.
all exhausted. I mean, you included. But I think there's been a lot, maybe too much attention around the studio lately, and it's getting a bit claustrophobic. I'm worried about that, and I want this to be a good, healthy, creative, environment. So I think it'll be good for everyone to have a wee break, and it would be good for me to make a new machine. It's been a while. It's been a while since I made a new train.
I I don't suppose I could also maybe help make it as well. I haven't actually gotten to build something for. I haven't actually got to use my artificer skills for a while. For a while.
Okay, you were doing the sparkles before. This guy looks like he's about to set off fireworks.
Bob holds the papers away so they don't catch fire.
Yeah, probably a good idea. There's a sort of inadvertent little bit of a spark that travels around his ears, like a sort of errant lightning bolt. He says, are you joking? I would absolutely relish a second opinion. I'm sure those things. I mean, this is very much early days. We're gonna have to make as I said, like a prototype to see if it even works. But if you can think of improvements, I'm all about that.
I mean, the
I
first.
haven't really put too much thought into the carriages. Yeah, I was thinking of like a floating boat system, but to make sure they don't too easily disengage or collapse, they'd be like a sort of guardrail around them. But that's certainly a work in progress.
A boat system with a guardrail would be good, but also we might want to consider, if possible, maybe adding an underwater feature to the train, especially since oceans can have a lot of storms.
That you are a genius. A submarine? Oh, that is something I hadn't thought about. I was just thinking about how to make it stay on top of the water.
I'm thinking it's got because it has the. Oh goodness, I don't know my train lingo. Well, obviously the smoke would be coming out from the top of here. But what if we had
Look a wee bit closer. Smoke? You can't. There's bubbles. I mean, you should have
bubbles?
seen the last train.
No, sir, bubbles.
Bubbles. We can make this go on the water. Absolutely.
With
We'll just
bubble.
have to make sure not to completely flood the engine. But I think that's entirely
No,
possible,
sir,
right?
we bubble it.
Bubble the entire train?
Or at the we can make the okay, we can make the other train cars we can make the other this wouldn't be going deep underwater. We could make the trail cars airtight so water doesn't get in, but as for the carriage itself, we could make, since bubbles are already coming.
The taffy train had its own magic bubbling system for the spell protection, like most buildings do have. But I could talk it over with Vodlig. He's canny with the new spells. He might be able to make it a waterproof magic bubble as well.
And Bob is actually looking excited. He's looking excited now as well.
Yeah! Oh my god, the dads have a project. So yeah, he's absolutely game with you, helping make this even better. Yeah, this is great. Unfortunately, we seem to have segued rather wildly off the whole Tally situation. But,
Yeah.
He gave you his little Braveheart speech about that. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
I think Bob starts to go on a bit of a tangent, like, oh goodness, I have to get the paperwork ready. Wait, paperwork. Oh, adoption papers. Oh God, Tally, right? We left her alone.
She's fine. Oh my goodness, you are so full of. Anyway, we'll go together to the adoption office. They're quite used to my face appearing there. They'll be relieved to hear it's actually you that they're dealing with today.
Well, actually,
You need to talk to Tally before we go there.
Well, actually, about that, Bob reaches behind him and pulls out a packet of adoption papers that he may or may not have already gotten beforehand.
You are so in deep. You are in trouble, my man.
Oh, no, don't trouble. I do not want to hear that coming from you. You,
You're
engineer.
gonna hear it every day, Mr. Set the Roof on Fire.
One time, and it wasn't my fault.
One time.
I was not the one who had the dynamite. It's not my fault. I'm not taking responsibility for that part.
Hey, Mr. Started a rebellion. Okay, let's go and talk to your daughter.
I didn't start the rebellion. It was my friends who... you know what? I'm not having this argument. I'm not having this argument with you. Let's go talk to Tally. Yes, let's go do that.
Alright. Well, you seem to have got over your fear of talking to Tally, even if you developed one of talking to me.
Sir, the first time I met... no, we're not... There's so many things I could say about the first time I met you, but for now, out of character. Abby, how do Bob and Engineer find Tally?
I'm gonna roll something real fast just to see.
Because I have an image in my head that I've been saving.
There's an image? What?
I have an image in my
This is
head.
off script. I have no idea what we're doing now.
It depends if Abby... It depends on how well Abby rolls. Because it involves a lot of film reel, and it's a small child getting wrapped up. Oh, that's a 15, though.
Yes.
Well, that was a 15. That was a con save to see if Tally fell asleep.
Oh.
She didn't. So I think she's... Oh gosh, what do I roll to see how well she's been doing?
Dex, I guess?
Make an intelligence roll, because like you're
yeah,
doing this for the first
intelligence.
time.
Yeah,
And like it's
Oh,
all
no.
it's all like spare footage, so it's like you can do no wrong. This was just to have fun.
6.
Okay.
Oh, they find her. They find her wrapped up in film
Yeah.
film reel.
You got a bit happy with cutting the film, like a bit slap happy with the chop part of the machine, and so like there's lots of very, very small pieces of film that you can't quite manage to suture together because you made them too small. But you're just having a lovely time. Like 6 does not mean you've had a horrible experience. It just means you had too good of a time, and now the room is in complete shambles.
Please tell me Tally herself is also covered in just film.
Yes, please.
Absolutely, of
Yes.
course.
Good.
Yes.
You look like a Christmas tree.
Yeah,
A
but
little Christmas tree with all the film.
But I just imagine they open the door, they see this, and Bob goes, Tally, are you having fun?
I suppose that's what you call it. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm a little stuck though. I might help me.
All right, hold on, I'm coming, and Bob's gonna
It's
go.
alright, there's a very easy way of doing this, especially considering with Toonkind. And the engineer very calmly takes hold of one end of the film reel and gives it a very big tug. Yeah. Spinning
Tally
top.
goes spinning around the room like for a bit like a top, yeah.
Oh dear. Hold on, I think Bob's actually gonna try and catch Tally while she's spinning.
Whoa!
And actually, I'm gonna roll. What should I roll?
Dex.
Dex?
Probably Dex, I would
Dex.
guess.
I'll just roll straight Dex. It's not great. Oh boy. 14.
14. Yeah, that's
I'd
good
say
enough.
that's
I
good
mean,
enough.
You may get knocked back a few steps.
Oof. Oh, hello there.
Oh,
Are you alright?
oh, yeah. I'm a little dizzy.
Alright, let's take a few breaths. I think he reaches up and adjusts her hat a little bit.
Well, my work here is done. I suppose I had better get back to making my movie. And he's scooping you two out of the room
Oh,
because you two have things to talk about. And he's got to tidy up this mess you made.
oh yeah, right. I'll talk to you later about the more about the other thing later.
Yes, I'm more about the other thing that you're not allowed to tell anybody else because it's very
What's the
top
other
secret.
thing?
It's a
You'll-
secret.
maybe your friend who will tell you about it later, but we want it to be a nice
Aw.
surprise for you. When it's finished.
Is this like an older thing? Like I have to be older? Is it one of those things?
No,
Those are stupid.
no. If I ever say that to you, just ignore me or kick me in the shins. I hate it when people say that. No, it's not to do with age. But it will be worth the wait. I promise you that.
Okay.
Okay, ta-da! And he's gonna
But the
shut
moment
door.
it's ready, I want to be the first person to. Oh, the door shut.
He opens the door again. Hey, you will get first dibs, I promise. And then he shuts the door.
Yes.
Well, well, did you have fun making a movie?
I think I cut some of them a little bit too small, but I think I did good otherwise.
Oh,
It's a-
I have no doubt. I have no doubt you did.
Talia just grins. Oh.
Oh man, I do want to have this conversation before we end. Oh man, just trying to think. I guess for Tally, roll insight.
Oh boy, insight. Da 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 da. Boop. 15.
15. Bob actually, Bob's looked nervous before, but he's looking nervous now as he looks at you, and then he looks around you all because you are both just in like the hall in outside where there are other owls walking about. And I think Bob puts a hand on Tally's back and goes, "Hey, I want to ask you something, but let's go to my office real quick so we could talk."
Oh, okay. What are we gonna talk about?
Well, it's something I've been wanting to ask you for a bit.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Well, it's
Like a secret?
it's not. No, Tally. It's not a secret. It's well, you've been through, safe to say, a lot in the past couple weeks, months.
A while.
A while, yeah, a lot. And well, it goes without saying, you can. I've said it before, and you are allowed. Goodness, I'm sorry, Tally. I'm not very good at this kind of thing. Maybe it's better if I actually just I'll stop. As soon as you're in Bob's office, he lets Tally go and hammer space, and he pulls out a bit of papers and holds them out to you.
Oh.
I think Talia takes them and she kind of like holds them in her hands and attempted to do an intelligence roll to see if she can.
I mean, you can read them. I'd say 13.
Yeah.
I would say the big bold blocky letters that read out adoption at the top of the paper probably says enough.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Bob's standing there. He's fidgeting again and looking a little nervous. 'Cause he's not done this part.
Okay. Quick question.
Okay.
What is adoption?
Bob blinks. And then Bob goes, "Oh," and then Bob has a face that goes, "Oh yeah. Right." Well, adoption is when, I'm a bit new to the concept myself, but adoption is when you it's more, I guess, it could be emotional or legal. It's when you are, oh goodness, maybe it's easier if I use it in a sentence. When you adopt someone, you make them a part of your family, officially.
Oh. I thought we already were, though.
Like Tally just says very, very softly.
Bob blinks again, and his face softens, and he goes, Of course we are. I just this here is more of a. This is more of a if you ever get if you ever get in trouble and if someone needs to contact someone close to you, this is a way to say that, to tell someone that yes, that I'm your family and will be there for you.
Oh, okay. Oh,
And like, if you want to roll insight, you can. But like at the same time, I can just give it to you.
I'm just gonna roll insight for the heck of it because he has a good insight. I haven't rolled very well today. 17. Here we go.
17. Yeah. The more you're explaining it, like it is a little long-winded, but Tally is still looking more and more excited as the explanation is going on. Like you can see like the little sparkles in her eyes, and she's just, oh, this is good. I like this.
And Bob's own smile widens a bit and goes, and I guess that's what I wanted to ask, if you'd want me to be your dad.
And like Tally is quiet for a little bit as she hears that, and there's just like a moment before Bob, you're being hugged.
Oof. Oh,
and and Tally just goes,
yes, 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 yes.
oh, okay then. And Bob, without hesitation, wraps his own arms around Tally and just hugs her close in a big warm dad hug. And I think even I think he tilts her hat back a little bit so he can place a small kiss on her forehead. Like, oh, he's so relieved and happy.
Oh, that's so soft. Oh,
He's happy, man. He's happy. He loves this kid so much.
I will say that hug is gonna last a while because Tally is also just as happy.
Oh yeah, Bob has no problems. Has no problems with that. He's more than happy to continue this hug. And I just imagine at the end of it, him. Yes, it's paperwork. Yes, it's boring, but it's the good kind of paperwork where it's like, hey, this is this is official.
Yeah. I'm just like imagining like the like at the end of the hug, Tally like thinks to herself for a second before she goes,
Wait a second. Does that mean Rad and I we're gonna be siblings?
Yeah, that.
Like, yes!
Tally throws both arms into the air.
Oh, I tell you what. Actually, And Bob looks at the clock and looks out towards his door and goes, "You know what? I've gotten enough good credit here. I think we could. How about we go home early today? We could pick up Rad and we could get some cake to celebrate."
Cake!
And, like, Tally is very excitedly yes, cake, yes.
And Bob laughs and smiles. Yes, this is good. This is very good.
This is very good. Oh.
And I feel like it's a good place to end with just Bob and Tally finishing signing the papers and Bob definitely giving Tally another hug.
Yes!
Yes was the good
So it's official, people. Tally has been officially adopted by Bob.
Oh, hell yeah.
Tally has family.
Family.
She has family.
That's what she deserves.
Yes.
It's what this
Wow,
baby
this actually
is.
turned out to be like basically 4 FPSs back to back, huh?
Oh yeah, a little
Huh,
bit.
it did.
A little bit.
Quadruple feature.
Quadruple feature. Hey.
Woo. Bonus content.
Oh, it was good though. That was good.
That was so good.
Oh.
Oh.
I've just been sat here with the biggest smile on my face for the last, like, what, 10 minutes or something. I'm just like, just, I don't know how far away from,
the good soft.
I don't know how far away from the editing room they were, but the engineer has owl hearing and was definitely, like, glued to the door. Like,
I think.
this is only gonna happen once. He's not gonna miss it.
Oh, I'm sure he'll. I mean, he'll definitely know about it because Bob's gonna be leaving early with Tally, and I just imagine them still talking, very happily, and Bob holding like Tally's hand.
This is like the first time Bob has ever left work early without asking permission, and the engineer knows why, and it's so good.
It's so good.
Yes.
It's so good.
I mean, Bob probably left a post-it note saying like, "I've left early."
Responsible person you are.
He's still responsible.
Me.
Maybe a bit rebellious now, but he's still responsible. But all right. Oh wow, this is 2 hours into recording. I think I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. Thank you all. Thank you all for listening. Hope to see you next time. Until then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
bye.
See you next time. Bye.